Have you ever stood on solid ground and wondered what lies beneath your feet? Not just soil and rock, but stories, secrets, entire lives buried in silence. We spend our days looking up at the sky, dreaming about stars and distant worlds. But what if the greatest mystery of human history is not above us at all? What if it's hidden far below, carved into darkness, waiting to be remembered? Thousands of years ago, ancient humans did something that still confuses scientists today. They didn't just dig small shelters or temporary hiding places. They built massive underground cities, some stretching nearly 280 feet below the surface. These were not caves made by accident. These were carefully designed worlds beneath the earth where families lived, prayed, worked, and survived. The question is simple, but the answer is unsettling. Why would entire civilizations choose to disappear underground? What were they running from? Or more importantly, what were they trying to protect? Long before modern cities, skyscrapers, and technology, ancient humans lived in a world filled with constant danger. Empires rose and fell quickly. Invasions were brutal and unpredictable. One season of drought or one wave of violence could wipe out entire communities. Survival wasn't guaranteed, and safety was never permanent. In regions like central Anatolia, especially in what we now call Cappadocia in Turkey, the land itself offered a strange opportunity. The soft volcanic rock could be carved by hand, slowly shaped into rooms, tunnels, and halls. At first, these spaces may have been small storage areas or temporary shelters, but generation after generation, people kept digging deeper. They expanded the tunnels, they connected rooms, they created ventilation shafts, wells, kitchens, animal pens, and places of worship. Over time, these underground shelters became full cities, capable of housing tens of thousands of people. This wasn't done in a hurry. It was planned, it was deliberate, and it suggests that whatever danger existed above ground was not temporary. It was something people expected to return again and again. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. Archaeologists discovered that these underground cities were not meant for short stays. Some had doors made of massive rolling stone discs weighing hundreds of kilograms, designed to seal entire levels from intruders. Narrow passageways forced anyone entering to move slowly, making defense easier. Air shafts were cleverly hidden, ensuring fresh oxygen without revealing locations. Water sources were built entirely underground, meaning the people didn't need to surface even during long sieges. These were not panic shelters, they were survival systems. That raises a disturbing thought. What kind of fear pushes people to design a life where sunlight becomes optional? Many historians point to constant invasions as the main reason. The region faced attacks from Persians, Romans, Byzantines, and later Arab armies. Disappearing underground would make entire populations invisible. Enemy forces could pass through without ever realizing a city existed below them. But that explanation doesn't answer everything. Because if fear of invasion was the only reason, why include churches, schools, and wine presses? Why decorate walls? Why plan for generations? This wasn't just about hiding. It was about living a full life away from the surface. Some researchers believe religious persecution also played a role. Early Christian communities hunted for their beliefs, needed safe spaces to worship. Underground, faith could survive when it was dangerous above ground. But again, the scale feels too large for just one group or one era. What nobody expected was the discovery of similar underground structures across the world. From China's Longyu caves to underground complexes in Iran, Italy, and even parts of South America, the pattern repeats. Different cultures, different continents, same idea. Go underground, stay hidden, stay alive. In China, enormous hand-carved caverns were discovered beneath ponds that locals believed were natural. When the water was drained, massive chambers emerged with smooth walls, precise angles, and no historical records explaining who built them or why. Millions of cubic meters of stone were removed, yet there is no mention of this work in ancient texts. It's as if the builders wanted their existence erased. That silence is unsettling.
But here's the twist. Some underground cities were not just about fear. They may have been about control. Underground environments offer stability. Temperature stays constant. Crops stored underground last longer. Life below ground can be protected from climate extremes, storms, and even disease outbreaks. Some scientists believe ancient humans understood environmental cycles better than we assume. They may have seen signs of long-term climate shifts, volcanic winters, or recurring disasters. Going underground could have been a way to protect civilization itself, not just bodies, but knowledge, traditions, and culture. Still, there are details that refuse to fit neatly into any explanation. In several underground sites, archaeologists found signs that people intentionally sealed entrances and never returned. Rooms left empty, tools abandoned, pathways blocked forever. It's as if entire communities vanished overnight. Did they return to the surface and forget? Or did something happen below that forced them to leave everything behind? Some legends speak of ancient cataclysms, of skies filled with fire, of poisonous air above ground. While modern science treats these as myths, the architectural choices suggest preparation for something extreme, something that lasted longer than a few weeks or months. The emotional weight of these discoveries is heavy. Imagine living your entire life without seeing the sun. Children growing up under torchlight, families sleeping beneath tons of stone, trusting that the earth above them would not collapse. Relationships, love, conflict, and hope, all unfolding in silence. These people were not primitive or unaware. They were engineers, planners, and survivors. Their decision to live underground wasn't madness, it was logic, shaped by fear, experience, and knowledge passed down through generations. Fear of losing everything again. But perhaps the most haunting question is this: why did they eventually leave? Because most underground cities were abandoned. The surface became livable again? Or maybe the danger faded? Or maybe humanity forgot the lessons carved into stone? Today, we walk over these places without noticing. Homes, farms, and cities built directly above ancient worlds. People lived their entire lives unaware that beneath their feet once existed a civilization that chose darkness over daylight for survival. The emotional impact of this realization is profound. It forces us to rethink what progress really means. Ancient humans were not simply reacting to fear, they were adapting. They were making sacrifices we can barely imagine: comfort for safety, freedom for survival. And family bonds were tested in ways modern life never demands. Every decision was collective, every risk affected everyone. There was no escape from community underground, no place to run when conflict arose. Yet they stayed, they endured. In many ways, these underground cities reflect the human instinct to survive at any cost. When the world above becomes hostile, humans don't surrender. They transform, they dig, they hide, they rebuild. Even if it means burying their own history, even if it means living where no one can see them. The stone walls still whisper their story, even if we struggle to hear it. As we uncover more of these underground worlds, one truth becomes clear. Ancient humans were not running away from life, they were fighting to preserve it. Their cities beneath the earth stand as monuments to resilience, fear, intelligence, and sacrifice. And maybe the greatest mystery isn't why they lived underground. Maybe it's why we stopped listening to the warnings they left behind. Because the ground beneath us remembers everything, and it's still holding secrets we may not be ready to face.